Hey everyone, it's Adam Sellers, and welcome to our next episode of Behind the Key. I'm so excited to bring in a marketing person to have this conversation today. So I'm sitting down today with Kenzie Adams from enCOMPASS Advertising Agency. She works in digital marketing, helping businesses build strategy, visibility, and real growth. And we're talking about what actually works behind the scenes. Hey, Kenzie, welcome in.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
Really good, really good. Thanks, first of all, for coming in. What drew you into digital marketing? Like, how did you get into digital marketing?
Well, to start off with, I am a part of the Zillennial generation. So that is
God, is that a term?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So we're like the older Gen Zs. So
Okay.
we still remember what it was like to not have technology in our lives. And knock on people's doors to see if we can play outside. But then throughout our middle school and high school, technology, social media started becoming a thing. So it almost became a part of my language. So I know, they say that Zillennials are the only group of people that know the difference between, or the last people to see the difference between technology rather than just an extension of your life, because that's what Gen Zs are looking at it like now.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting perspective. And then I went to college for electronic media and broadcast journalism, and I wanted to be a TV host or podcaster, actually. But then I found that it wasn't as much of a helpful avenue as I thought it was going to be. So I am a child of two small business owners, and I've always been passionate about being an entrepreneur. I'm not that yet, but I do help a lot of businesses with their growth. So it kind of just made sense with the person that I am, and I got scouted from someone, and I said yes, and here we are.
Heck yeah. That's a great story. And Zillennial. I learned something new today. I'm going to save that term. Wonder what my kids will get labeled with. It'll be fun, but so what, you come out of college and you've done it, and like you said, you've kind of figured out, and someone recruited you. What made you choose agency life versus creating your own business to start, as a young professional?
Well, I really wanted to learn. I felt that it would be fun to just go out and start your own business, but I also knew the importance of knowledge and being a student. And I wanted to kind of feel that out first and understand what it is to be a part of a company and have partners, and also to admit I didn't know enough to just start my own business. So that's where we are.
What about enCOMPASS really makes the difference with the marketing agency? So what does enCOMPASS do differently than any other agency that you know of?
Yeah, so I actually worked for another agency previously, and I really enjoyed them. But something that's different with enCOMPASS is the partnership mentality. When we bring in a client, it's not as much about, all right, we're going to take their money and see what we can do with it. It's more of a conversation, and like we're an arm in their company, and talking about what are their goals, what is their perceived ROI, what are they tracking? And from that, we do the research that we need. We have 20 years experience, so we can pull from that and kind of figure out a strategy. And from that, it's very growth oriented. That's one of our core values, and we actually stick to our core values for not just the internal team, but also our clients. We're very passionate about adjusting, changing, growing, and learning from marketing. And at the end of the day, that's the only way marketing works. Right. A lot of agencies will do something called spraying and praying, which can be successful in some avenues, but with long-term growth with companies, it should be more of a partnership. And that was just so special.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I get the consultative approach, and the partnership was important for you. So whenever you think of marketing, I think of it as a big, giant, heavy, multiple layered thing where I'm in podcasting and I'm in YouTube and shorts and, all the other things of what I think are marketing based. So, we always talk about being marketing based and prospecting enhanced. And we kind of talk a little bit about that in real estate. If you had to go out and say and put on a limb about what I think and what other people think about marketing, what do you think other business owners think about marketing is today? How do you think other business owners define marketing?
So there's a lot of different avenues now. And some are still stuck thinking that it is billboards and getting out in front of people, which is still super important, very
Right.
important.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is super important, but I think the biggest transition that's happened in the last 10 years specifically, is having that local presence be shown online as well, and kind of, again, learning from data. One of the benefits of marketing in today's age is the ability to track and view what has worked in the past so you can optimize for what to do in the future. A lot of times people have been burned by agencies. Different agencies will take people's money. They'll spray and pray. They might just put it somewhere. They won't give reports. They won't meet with the client. And it just becomes this flat line. And understandably so, it really upsets the business. And that's something that we have to overcome as an agency so that people can trust us with their baby, essentially.
Yeah, because I heard from a huge influencer the other day, Gary Vee. I was watching one of his shorts, and he said that SEO is dying. Is that a real truth, or is that a misunderstanding? Or that like Google ads are becoming less because more people are moving to AI, and that's where you need to shift. Is that something that you guys maybe help with? Is that like something that we're seeing shift in the market right now?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Something that has become a newer avenue of SEO specifically is AI SEO. I don't believe that SEO is dead.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's more of a backbone than a difference maker now. It's almost like you have to be doing it in order to even get into the running. But a big misconception about AI SEO is that it's some bots moving fast and changing your website in order to optimize you to the top. But really what it is just optimizing your site so that it shows up in the AI overviews. Yeah. So originally with regular organic SEO, you're going to be optimizing your website to have specific keywords that people are searching for. Whereas with AI SEO, you're going to be changing your websites to have conversations and answer questions. For example, you could say, someone's searching, when's the best time to sell my house? And it could say, Keller Williams suggests that X is when the best time it is to sell your house. And that conversation will need to have been had within the website in order for it to score high enough for Google to say, hey, this is a reputable company. This is good information for the searcher to have. And now it's kind of like you're not just getting people to click on your site, you're building this reputation of knowledge.
Oh, that makes sense. I get that a lot too. So when new people like me who are hearing things like that from large influencers, what are some things that you hear that are really just truly start at the beginning as misunderstood about marketing?
That's a really good question. I'm going to have to think about that one a little bit. I guess people think that it's magic. People assume that you pay some money, you put it out there, and people just come to you.
Yeah.
But again, I'll hit on the point of testing.
I mean, I spend a lot of money. I should automatically get 10 people to show up to my door and want to sell their house, right?
Yeah. Well, there's also other people spending that kind of money.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to follow the searcher or remind them, because we're so overstimulated and distracted nowadays that everyone's fighting for attention. So if you make your marketing feel organic and like it's meant for the searcher, and retargeting them and making it more of a conversation and a learning process for them rather than, hey, look at me, come over here. It's more of a, hey, this is what I can teach you. Then once you have them, that's when you can make the difference.
That makes sense. So are there any other misunderstandings about marketing that you'd want to cover that you'd say if someone were to walk up to you, you're like, you've heard that a bunch that just kind of seems not real? You want to debunk?
I mean, people love to throw AI. They're like, oh, well, the AI can do this and the AI can do that. It's like, well, there are still humans behind the other side, and people know when something's authentic or when it's AI.
Yeah.
And sometimes now doing the opposite can really draw in attention. And I would say one other thing that people have misconceptions about is the time it takes.
It's not instant?
No. Oh, I wish.
Why not?
I wish,
I
because
thought
it
I
would
could
help me
just,
so
like
much.
I said, I could just put an ad. I get 10 people want to buy my house.
I wish.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah.
And same thing with like the spread across. Like, you know, for me, it's been a big thing of like I think I'm on 7 different social platforms trying to hit all the different things. It feels a little bit tiring too to be like across all those. Is that still a thing? You still have to stay on a bunch of different things, or is that a misunderstanding that, maybe you can do one thing greatly as well?
Yeah, I think that kind of ties back to the tracking of things, because you never truly know where your audience is going to be coming from. Even if you think you know, you might not really know. So if you're diversifying yourself into, say, 7 different platforms and you don't truly know where most of your leads are coming from, you just are continuously putting money towards places that may not be generating a lot of success for you.
Right.
So by tracking where these actually closed leads are coming from, then you can start to adjust your budget and focus on maybe 2 or 3 that might be much more effective for you.
That makes sense. So let's go into a little bit of that since we've been talking a little bit about strategy and effectiveness. Where do people waste the most amount of money in advertising?
I would say, that's a really good question. Let me think about that. I think sometimes when you are a certain industry, like, for example, insurance, anything in the medical field, if you're going to be on Google, you really have to invest in being on Google, because that is a very competitive space. And if you're spending under a certain amount, you're basically wasting some of those dollars.
Donating to the cause kind of thing?
Precisely. Because you're bidding against these people, and if they have a stronger bid amount, if they have a stronger website, then you're just kind of going to dissipate and be bidding with money that you no longer have. So if you have the ability to track where they're actually coming from, say you're putting out Meta ads, and you see that a lot of people are coming from Meta instead, that's where you can adjust your budget. And another point is that sometimes you might have more leads coming from a certain tactic, but those leads are not the ones that closed. So a lot of people are going to click. A lot of people are going to say, "Oh, I want to call you," and they might even call you and waste your time. But it depends on where your quality audience is, and the only way you can do that is by testing.
Got you. That makes sense. So you can lose a lot of money really fast if you're not careful with
Exactly.
that. Got it. So if you were telling me or coaching me through this, what would a strong marketing foundation look like?
So even though I'm in digital marketing, I would always say knowing your local audience first and understanding who you've worked with, what has worked best for your clients, who do you feel the most passionate about. You can focus in on that personality and really hone in what they need from you.
Yeah.
So word of mouth is always the strongest.
Right.
And it really just depends on what your goals are. So there's awareness and there's lead generation. So awareness is more of the mindset of, hey, I'm going to get myself out there. I'm going to let people know who I am so that when the time comes, they will reach out to me. But then there's lead generation where it's, hey, I want to get people right here, right now, while they are searching. So there's different tactics for each.
Yeah, and so when you say local, and I kind of heard a little bit in there, do you also mean like hyper local? Isn't like if I'm living in Charlotte, I could get as much, because Charlotte's pretty diverse with neighborhoods. Should I even get more deeper into not just hitting Charlotte as a whole, that I should focus more like on Pineville or Matthews or Mint Hill or Monroe? All the kind of small little towns that are tucked around here, South End only. Like, is that something else to try to stay focused on, or is it that I should still stay in Charlotte as a whole?
Yeah, I think that comes with your brand and who you know your buyers to be. Yeah. It's really fun to do all of Charlotte because that's where the big bucks is, Right. And uptown, you're like, oh, wow, like I'm going to get some millionaires over here.
Right.
But that's what everybody else is thinking. So if that's your market, then that's your market. But if you know that you have more success in those areas outside in those neighborhoods, then that would be a more strategic way to start.
Right.
And then eventually, once you get to a point where you have exhausted those options or you feel like you're being very successful in those areas, then you can start to tap into the bigger markets. Yeah.
That makes sense. And even down to like potentially even interest, right? Or hobbies is even better to go towards?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense. That makes sense. So how should businesses think about ROI beyond clicks and impressions?
Yeah. So say you have a product and there's different variations of the pricing.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to focus on a larger ROI, which most people are, if you're going to invest money in selling something, invest in the higher product first, if that's what's moving the needle for you.
Got it. That makes sense. So we talked a little bit about like strategy. We've talked a little bit about effectiveness in marketing. Let's talk a little bit about the behind the scenes stuff. So I understand a little bit more about what happens in marketing, because I think that's important for people to understand. It isn't just a couple clicks and you're done with the work, right? Mm-hmm. It's so much more.
Wait, sorry. What? I zoned
no,
out.
I was saying like there's so much behind the clicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more than just clicking on a few things on the internet and making a marketing plan work, right?
Right, absolutely.
So like, what does an agency life look like behind the scenes that clients may not necessarily see that you do?
Yeah, I would say the research and the data calculations, and I think I touched on it a little bit, but I think a good answer for this would be, say you have a list of all of the different tactics that you're using, and being able to not marry one of them and say, no, this is what I know is going to work. Be flexible in your ability to listen to the professionals that you've hired, because we've been doing this for a certain amount of time, and we want your success just as much as you want your success.
Right. I'm sure you get paid more for that.
Sure.
But what are some of the things you're doing in the background that I might not see as I give you all this data and give you all this information, or give you my wants and needs and desires? Like, what does the work look like behind that?
Yeah, so I have some great strategists that are doing the work that I am not doing.
Okay.
But we are doing a lot of audits on websites. There's a lot of platform research. Just a lot of the strategists on our teams have been doing this for 15 plus years. So when they see a client, they pretty much know what to do. They check the audience size, the location, interests, and how many of those people exist in that specific space. And from that, they can either shrink the location, cut out the middleman. Say if we're targeting Charlotte and you know that people in Uptown are not going to be parking in those parking lots that you're trying to advertise for, you will cut out that middleman and advertise to the people on the outside. So it's a lot of just moving parts of what fits best for specific clients.
What part of like digital marketing is harder than people expect?
Helping people understand the value of marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like why is that?
Because a lot of times when people are looking at budget cuts or things to not invest in, for some reason, marketing is the first thing to go, because they are like, our operations need to work, obviously, but this and that. And they forget that marketing is the fuel to their fire.
Yeah.
Wayne in our group likes to say fanning the flame.
Yeah.
That's how you fan the flame,
Right.
is to continue that marketing. And during COVID, surprisingly, it was some of our best years, because a lot of people that we were partnered with decided to continue marketing with us. And because a lot of other people pulled out, they were like, oh, no one's going to be doing anything, la da 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 da. We were able to grow their score on their website extremely high. We were able to cut out all the noise. They weren't bidding against these bigger entities. And it was some of the most successful campaigns that we've ever seen.
Because when people are stepping out, they stepped in.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. So far we've talked a lot about misunderstandings, myth understandings. We've talked a little bit about hyperlocality, making sure you understand how to get into the targeting subsections. Let's kind of just move into this mindset section for you personally. And one of the things I like to dive into with your business and you is a little bit of like what pressure and growth is like for you. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about your career and your career path, because if someone's in this industry of marketing, I know that it's stressful, just like any other industry. You know, and there's young folk out there, young kids out there, zillennials, as you like to tell me, that I've learned today, out there that may be wanting to quit or give up. In what part of your career so far has it felt like really uncertain, that you just didn't know what you were doing? You felt like you thought you do, and then you're just like, I don't know if I might be messing up.
Yeah, I think I have a really good one for this. So So I obviously am very passionate about marketing, and I understand what makes people make decisions, and I like connecting and growing companies. But something that I really struggled with was the selling aspect. I love people, and you could say I'm a bit of a people pleaser, if you will. I'm recovering, but I'm not a pusher. And I mean, that can be really good, but sometimes people need to really understand, again, the value of marketing. And when someone says, no, I'm not interested, that almost is an indication of you need to dig a little deeper. Like, why aren't you interested? Like, are you nervous? Are there people that have burned you in the past? Like, let me teach you or show you why we may be a good partnership for you. And if not, that's okay too. I would take no as no and
Okay,
would.
I'm done. Yeah, well, I thought you missed the quote that I live by, that the no's just the next yes, right? Or like the no just needs to understand the deeper question.
Yeah.
And I love that. So the people out there that are struggling or feel stressed could go just maybe one more time, right?
Exactly.
Just go one more.
And just like remember that you are helping them
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And your product is a great product. And to stand confident in that and don't cower. And if it gets to a point where someone's like, stop talking to me, you're like, okay, that's when you tap out. But before that, maybe they, again, have been burned. And I personally have been burned in things in the past. Like if I get a sales call from somebody, I'm not always listening well.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Right on. So, you get through that part of getting through the no's and you're trying to bring the value, and someone finally says yes and they've signed on with you and they're ready to go. Like, what happens whenever, the results aren't immediate? How do you stay confident in knowing that what you're doing is the right thing for them?
Yeah, I think that in everything in life, the only way to learn or grow is by testing and by giving things time and understanding what doesn't work.
Right.
Because it's almost impossible in many things in life to just kind of know exactly what to do and it works perfectly. And sometimes in those moments of struggle or, oh gosh, this isn't working like I thought it would be, in the end results, they're even better because you kind of cut out the noise and you know it doesn't work. So I try to believe in the product because I know it's been successful for so many people and companies. We just have to find what works for this specific company and audience.
Yeah, just keep mining, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep mining.
You've had all the challenges of the no's and learning the lessons of, hey, no doesn't always mean no. It just means not right now, or I need to figure out how to get them to a yes, and maybe there's an objection I'm just not listening to. That no really means ask one more question versus just accepting the outcome. What does discipline look like in marketing for a person who's in the marketing world?
Yeah, I think that specifically for me, you kind of mentioned something right there, is listening more, because I love to talk. I love to chat, and that's what made me great in sales and what made me connect with people. But when someone says no, that normally means that there's some sort of boundary or something keeping them from making that decision or saying yes. And to get to the bottom of that, you have to really hear people out and ask the right questions. And I think that kind of helps me be a better partner at the end of the day. And in marketing, it's a very flexible job. You have to be able to change directions at the drop of a hat. You have to be able to pick up your phone when someone's having an issue, because at the end of the day, like, their ads are running over the weekend. So if somebody calls you, you should probably answer and try to figure it out with your team. But also understand that you are a respectful agency as well. So you're not their maids, if you will.
Sure.
You are a partner. Yeah. So keeping that in mind as well.
Gotcha. Because that discipline can probably get a little bit of a disproportionate energy, make you feel like crap if you're kind of chasing it always.
Oh, yes. And I will do it. So I have to cut it off.
So it's intense. You've signed a big contract and the results aren't showing up, or, things are kind of feeling really, you're anxious and you're nervous. You're also knowing that you're sticking to the process. How do you stay creative when you're under pressure, or do you?
Yeah. So I have a really great team.
Yeah.
And we have really good communication. We bounce off ideas from each other. We have each other's backs. So honestly, staying creative with different strategies with them of how to approach a client, how to approach an issue, how to grow from this issue. Something I really value about enCOMPASS is it's never, why is this wrong? What happened here? It's what can we do next time? What can we learn from this? What is our next step? And how are we going to figure this out together?
Makes sense. So then that's how you keep the creativity, is the support that you have behind it.
Absolutely.
Nice. So we've talked a little bit about your first cast of being in, coming out of school and figuring out marketing agencies and agency life was where you wanted to go. We've talked a little bit about the struggles of getting to no's and understanding that no didn't just mean the end, and a little bit about how your agency works. I wanted to talk a little bit about like your identity and the leadership behind that, and like who did you have to become to grow in the marketing industry and to get into where you are today? If someone were watching this and they're maybe at the bottom starting and figuring out coming out of college and they feel a disarrayed mess, who did you have to become in order to grow in the industry?
I had to be very honest with myself. I have a very extroverted personality, but I'm sometimes a ball of anxiety, and I would always look internally for the problem, which can sometimes be a good thing, but it also will not allow for confidence.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to say, no, this just happened, and what can I do next time?
Yeah.
And invest in therapy. That's all I got to say.
Invest in someone to talk to.
Yeah,
But,
please.
so what else books? Are there any other fun things that you had to what's one, maybe one book that you thought really influenced how you've grown in the industry for someone who's thinking about the marketing industry?
Yeah. Actually right now, this is more for the sales role, but I'm reading Cold Calls Suck, and That's Why They Work.
Huh.
So it's talking about the reason that cold calls are effective is because people are afraid to do them. Yeah. But really, it's the best way to learn if that opportunity is even worth it for them and you, and not wasting anybody's time with millions of emails blowing up their inbox. I was always nervous to do that. I don't like the idea of interrupting somebody's time.
Okay. Fine.
But I think it's helped me grow as a person in my own life as well. Yeah. And also the power of habits, because habits are everything in life. So
Yeah. Atomic Habits is another good one.
Yeah.
Too. Cool. And so you started to grow, you've taken in these books. What's something you thought in the industry and then you left or not left it, but you were in there and you just said, wait, I've got to unlearn this habit. What did you have to unlearn about the marketing industry that you think you've had to so far do?
I'm very trusting of people.
Yeah.
So when someone tells me something, I'm like, okay, that's just what it is. But having to dig deeper into what they mean by that, rather than just taking it as face value and being like, oh, they don't want to do a campaign like this, or they want their campaign to do that. It's like, okay, but how and why and where, and actually getting to the nitty gritty of what it is, being more curious. I've always been super curious, a nosy person, if you will, about just life and figuring out every nitty gritty thing.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I wasn't like that with people, because I just trusted that what they said was what it is for face value.
Right.
And just learning more about the situation.
Yeah. Just being willing to ask deeper questions.
Yeah. And you're not annoying somebody, because they want their business to grow too. That's one.
Yeah.
I was always afraid to annoy people, but at the end of the day, we're in business,
Yeah.
We're doing what we know is right to help clients or prospects.
Right. To bring them something bigger and better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Kenzie, we've talked so much today about all the great things in your marketing agency. I've learned a lot about hyperlocality too, and getting really great at understanding what I need to focus on a little bit better. And if I was someone in the marketing industry, I've given them some great tips to maybe help them grab a book, get a little bit more successful. If a business owner feels invincible right now, what's the first thing that they should do? And what would you tell them?
They feel invincible right now?
Yeah.
Well, I always say...
I have great signs out on 74, and I should be selling every one of these ATVs that I'm selling. Or I have, for me, I'm putting mailer flyers in every mailbox, and I've done it for 4 months. I should have a buyer by now, or I should have a listing by now. What would be the first thing, or like, what would you tell them to say to change how they feel about being invincible?
Yeah. I mean,
invisible.
I would probably find a better way to say it than what I'm about to say right now, but I always say that the smartest person in the room is the person that's willing to take a step back and understand what they don't know and learn. I can't remember it's like the Dundler whatever theory, but it's the bell curve theory of knowledge, basically, where it's like the more you know, the less you think you know, and then the less you know, the more you think you know.
Yeah.
So I would just say to trust the professionals. I normally play it off like, I don't know everything about your industry. You've been doing this business for as long as you have, but I know marketing, and that's why you hired us. So, just saying.
Gotcha. So if I'm feeling invisible, find a good professional, and maybe I'll feel less invisible.
Right, and just ask the questions. Don't feel pressured. Like if someone's trying to
money or to go right into something, is that like a red flag? If someone's just like, yeah, give me $5,000 and I'll knock your SEO out and you'll get 10 more clients. That should be something that's kind of like a red flag.
I agree. I personally think that when agencies and clients are like, here, money, that's like, okay, wait, why? What do you want to do with that? Like, how do you know that's going to work? Like, what have you done in the past? Like, what does your inventory look like right now? What are you looking to grow? Like, if you're selling, say, power sports, if you're selling a lot of ATVs and you want to go to motorcycles, like, where's that gap? And why do you think that you're getting a lot of ATV sales and not motorcycles? Because it might not even be a marketing issue. Right. So kind of understanding, again, where your leads are coming from and what's moving the needle, and asking your customers, asking them why they decided on an ATV over a motorcycle. I know they're completely different things, but I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah, it's a good example.
Yeah.
I got it. I got you. So when you feel invincible, it's asking yourself the deeper question of why and how and then who, right?
Right.
I think there's a book I love. It's called Who, Not How. And that's probably a good one to ask someone that feels invincible. It's like, who should be doing the marketing, not how the marketing should be done.
Right. And things are different. I mean, you can't just put out a billboard and be like, okay, people are going to see it.
Yeah.
Because people aren't even looking up anymore.
There's so many people driving with their cell phones in their face. It's unbelievable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was driving on the road the other day, and I looked over, and there was a lady walking and another gentleman walking, and both not even looking at each other, walked right past each other on their cell phones and didn't even like engage. It was wild. I was like,
that is weird.
But that's what happens.
Yeah.
Like, we're all just in our own thing now.
But
we're
also
in the South, though. It's not supposed to be like that either.
Yeah.
But.
We're supposed to say, hey, hello, open the door,
But so if I've been in business and I've heard this podcast today, or I've been thinking about my agency or anything like that, how does someone connect with you specifically?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. So my name is Kenzie Adams, as you'll see. Just Kenzie, not Mackenzie. And you can reach out to me over email at Kenzie at encompassagency.com. And then my number is 336-266-3993.
Well, y'all, I hope today brought you some marketing tips, some great ideas, some thoughts behind the who, not the how, of marketing. And also, if you're in the industry, a great industry leader is the agency of enCOMPASS Agency. So I'd love to partner with them. And then, the books that Kenzie shared, if you're in the industry, that'll help you grow and help you find out. And then if you're a small to medium business and or even a large business, which you guys have some of the greatest accounts and clients already in the city of Charlotte, but I've been thinking about it, reach out to Kenzie, have her have a consultation with you on helping you grow your business. And obviously, as you know, in the consultation approach, she'll tell you whether or not enCOMPASS Agency is the right fit for you. So again, I'm Adam Sellers with the Queen City Sellers team, and this is Behind the Key, where we talk about the work behind the wins. If this resonated with you, leave us a comment, subscribe, like below, and if we're building something that lasts, we'd love to help you. Again, thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.